Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 4070 12GB GPU in Diablo 4. This one is the Founders Edition version of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU 0 sizable bar is also enabled, and over on the left, preparing it with the Ryzen 7 5800X3D and 32GB of RAM, CL14 3600MHz in dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright, first up, I want to tell you that this is the beginning of the game. Alright, oh boy, what the hell is that? And I have never played Diablo before, so, we're in for a treat, okay? I'm just gonna learn the game as we play and see the graphics, see the FPS that we're getting, and kill these bastards right here and maybe get into it. I actually kind of need the game to get into, you know? Alright, so we're playing at 4K. This is very small right there because I'm gonna change it to 1080p first, and you actually need to do so here in the display settings in Windows because you can't really change the resolution inside of the game, and it only has windowed full screen mode or windowed. So let's go ahead and set it to 1080p. Keep changes. There we go. This is 1920 by 1080. Well, if I go over here, it will show you. Yes, 1080p resolution to start this off using the maximum settings. DLSS is turned off, as you can see. Okay, Nvidia Reflex is also enabled, so there is no input lag, and it's very snappy. And I set everything to the maximum as well. This turned off is actually the maximum. There we go. Okay, these max settings at 1080p first. There is no need whatsoever to use DLSS at this resolution with the RTX 4070 because it's already getting like way over 200 frames per second. Oh boy, I'm actually losing a bit of HP here, you know. I don't like that too much. Let's go kill these guys. Oh, but by the way, these are Jacks, aren't they? Oh boy, okay. For those of you new to the channel, Jack is a very gorgeous animal that shows up in GTA 5 and a few other titles sometimes. And he's here, apparently, but he doesn't like us in this game. Alright. Anyways, we got a little bit of fire here. I also chose the Sorcerer class, so we can see some fire effects and freezing effects and so on. Right now we're seeing a lot of freezing effects because of the weather, I guess. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, that's nice. It's Bob. This is what happens when you let Bob rule the world. If you don't kill Bob in the benchmarks, he will turn against the entire world and release hell on Earth, basically. It's kind of weird that it starts with such bad weather here. It's not a good showcase of the graphics, you know. Maybe this is actually a little bit more intensive than usual, but only time will tell. Oh, hello there, skeleton. What are you doing here? Bob probably told these skeletons to revive and kill El Crispo, but we ain't having it, guys. Just avoid the arrows. There we go. This is so buttery smooth. I mean, that's what I expect from a game like Diablo, honestly. Anyway, as I told you, you definitely don't need DLSS here, but what if you want, like, the best FPS possible? Let's try it with frame generation. And this way, it should be kept at 400 frames per second. That's what I'm expecting. No, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? That is interesting. Huh. 280. What were we getting before frame generation was enabled? Wait a second. Let me just turn it off. And 249. So we gained about like 30 to 40 frames per second. That's not a lot coming from FG. Sometimes it doubles your performance, you know. And I noticed that it was a bit CPU bound. Well, it's 1080p with a 4070, so yeah, that's normal. But it usually isn't CPU bound whatsoever when you're enabling frame generation. But as you can see, GPU usage is not maxed out anymore, and we're getting 280 frames per second. Still, it's obviously more than playable even at native resolution, so there's no need for you to use frame generation at 1080p with the RTX 4070. The thing is doing a really good job. Power consumption is also pretty low, which I do like. And yeah, I mean, it's a flawless experience here, as expected, I guess, especially considering the minimum requirements asked for a GTX 660 from 12 years ago. Let's go up to 2560 by 1440 next. There we go. This is it. 1440p resolution. Much more adequate for something like the RTX 4070. And, well, we're not using any DLSS here and still using the highest settings possible. Frame generation is also turned off. Now we're getting 180 frames. That's much lower than what we were seeing at 1080p. And it's interesting that we are seeing very similar results inside of this area compared to outside in the cold weather with all of that fog effects and stuff like that, you know? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, well, no, I gotta keep clicking, I forget. Like, I played RuneScape, you just click once, the guy keeps attacking, you know. Should we explode the barrels? Oh, finally, we're gonna see some explosions. Nice. Right away, seeing some explosions. That is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted to see, because that's way more intensive than just walking around, obviously. But it only drops like 10 frames per second. No problems whatsoever. Oh, nice. That's healing. I was never really a big fan of Diablo, you know. That's why I never really played it. But my tastes in gaming are changing by the day. With every new release, I am willing to try something new, something very different, something that works. And Diablo 4 works like a charm, my friends. Can I use some of my, like, sorcerer abilities? I would love to do that. Oh boy, there are so many here. Come on, come on. Wait, there's space. Okay, and there's A. What does A do? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, what does A do? Ooh, okay, finally, all right. Hey, 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 there we go. There we go. Okay, ooh, run away, El Crispa. Okay, there we go, all good, all good. Nice. Little sparky things. Anyways, maybe we should stop it there for native 1440p. It's another flawless experience. Ooh, I'm just noticing the VRAM usage is really high here. Almost like 11.5 gigs of usage. That's crazy for a game like this. What the hell? I wonder how it will run on ultra settings on an 8GB card, for example. Let's use some DLSS on quality first before we try some frame generation here. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. I was seeing 300s, but we don't get 300s. We get close, though. It's pretty much the same as we saw at 1080p at this point, right? 250s, 260s at times. Let's explode the barrel. All right. Stand right here. Oh, yes, I do get a little bit of damage from walking on the fire. The VRAM went down slightly here as I enabled DLSS, so maybe it is actually using all of that VRAM. What the hell is happening? You know what? We need to upgrade some of our attacks as well and maybe use some others. So I'm going to try to do that. Abilities. Oh, no more available points. God damn it. I wasted them all on the shock things. Anyways, that's more YouTube appropriate, I guess, because we're not really killing the enemies, we're just tasing them. Let's go. Also, DLSS looks really similar to native resolution in this game. It's a great implementation in Diablo 4. So, even if you don't really gain much, like in terms of FPS by enabling DLSS, unless you have like a 240 Hz 1440p monitor, then it's going to be quite a bit of a difference. You can actually enable DLSS and just forget it's on, because it looks really, really similar. Yeah, you get the idea. It's extremely buttery smooth. What if we enable frame generation here with the 4070? VRAM went up slightly, because frame generation actually uses a little bit more VRAM, and the FPS are super similar, if not slightly worse. Like, this is the first time that I've ever seen frame generation not giving us a major advantage. Damn it! In terms of FPS. Alright, okay, it's all good. It's all good. We're grabbing a ton of gold, that's for sure. But yeah, once again, I just was expecting a little bit more coming from frame generation. Again, 1440p shouldn't be an issue whatsoever in this game. Let's try it at 4K next. Let's go down here. Everything is still the same. No DLSS yet. And this is where things start becoming a little bit more intensive, finally, right? Still not a problem to run 4K native on the RTX 4070, and that VRAM usage is still under control, so maybe it is, in fact, just allocation. It's not actually using all of that, which makes sense, since the game actually only requires a 2 GB card, apparently. Okay, alright, this is a boss already. A boss already. Set him on fire, there we go. Ooh, what is gonna happen? Some beautiful effects, hopefully? No? He's just summoning more demons. You bastard. I bet this is Bob in disguise. Well, not... It is Bob in his true colors, that's it. That's what we're seeing right here. Oh my god. Alright, at least he's very bad at the game. As you can expect from Bob, obviously. And he drops healing for it, that's amazing. There should be a ton of these huge monsters scattered around the map as well for you to kill. Alright. Oh yes, so much loot. That's great actually. Damage per second, minus 38. Than what I have right now, but I have nothing on my head. Oh, this is not a head thing? What is this crap? Wait, I can equip the little skull as a weapon. That's pretty interesting. Also, 60 FPS, by the way. I wasn't really noticing what kind of FPS we were getting when we were killing the boss there. Maybe it dropped from 60, but I don't think so, since the 1% lows are at 65. But there will definitely be some cases where it's gonna drop from 60 FPS here at native 4K. So you might as well just use some DLSS with the 4070 at this resolution. I like the loot. There's a ton of loot. This is great. It keeps things engaging. Ooh, a little bit of a stutter right there for a second. Not really that noticeable. Honestly, in a game like this, even if it drops slightly from 60 FPS, I think it should be fine. Okay, so we made it. Ooh, that frame time is going crazy right now. Interesting. Is the information that should be stored in the VRAM being swapped into RAM, and that's why it's stuttering, guys? Maybe that's what happened there. So we should definitely try it with DLSS on quality next, okay? And I suspect at 4K frame generation will make a huge difference now. Alright, so with DLSS on quality, it's getting 130. That's way better. I'm gonna sell the other crap that I just got. Well, the guy's not here. I can't sell it to him anymore. No. Where is my selling guy? I want the merchant again. He's my favorite person in this game. Jesus, that's another big stutter right there. It's not too noticeable because of the nature of the game, you know. You see things from up here. It's not a first-person shooter, you know, so if it does stutter slightly, it should be okay. But I'm very surprised to see some stuttering issues here at 4K resolution, considering, I mean, the textures aren't really that great. You know, and apparently we are running out of VRAM slightly. How about frame generation? RAM usage went down like crazy right now. Let's enable that. In terms of FPS, we don't really need more than what we were getting right now. It was a really, really nice experience, but I'm curious to see how frame generation will affect the frame rates. And at 4K, it's once again very similar to what we were seeing before. It looks very similar as well. Like, if you want to enable frame generation, just do it. Because it literally looks like native resolution. Maybe slightly less sharp, but I am seeing this on a 42-inch monitor. If I can't really tell much of a difference, it's because there isn't much of a difference to tell. Oh boy, we're loading another area. All right, let's just start recording it again. The 1% lows and averages and stuff. But yeah, frame generation uses a little bit more VRAM than native res, and apparently it's not really running out of it. So maybe it was just loading some mission-related stuff or whatever, some new areas back when it stuttered a little bit at the end of the other mission. I don't think it was because of the VRAM, because now we are using the settings that use the most VRAM here. I mean, aside from the quality DLSS, we can actually run native resolution with frame generation, and that will increase the VRAM usage by a little bit more. Oh, it's spilling into the RAM now. Okay, it's spilling. So a little bit of stuttering there, but not a major issue. It's not like The Last of Us back when it came out, when you run out of VRAM in that one. It was just terrible stuttery mess. So if you want to play at 4K, feel free to do so here with the RTX 4070. It's still very good for this game at 4K resolution. Again, I'm really surprised that sometimes VRAM spills a little bit into the RAM, but it's all right. So as expected, it does a great job, even at 4K. Now, whoa, 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 spiders! Interesting. Very interesting. We shouldn't kill spiders in real life, by the way. I really like spiders in real life. They help kill the mosquitoes, and there's one annoying the crap out of me right here. Oh, I see him. Anyway, let's try it out without frame generation next. Okay, so native resolution and at 8K. Okay, it is working. We gotta resize the... Oh my gosh, that's so small. 7680 by 4320, and it is indeed running out of VRAM right now. Like, VRAM is completely maxed out. RAM is at 25 gigabytes, guys. That's why they recommended 32 gigs of RAM to play this game on the recommended requirements. Because maybe they know that the VRAM requirements are just insane and it will spill a little bit into the RAM, but it doesn't really matter too much because it doesn't really stutter too much either. Oh my, what the hell is that? Spider host. We gotta kill the host. See, it's still playable. Even with 20-something FPS. It is playable, guys. It's very interesting. I could honestly see some people with really low-end specs being able to play this game, like with the GT 1030, for example, and 20 frames per second at 1080p low settings. I mean, maybe it's capable of getting more than that. I don't know. We gotta test it out, and we're gonna test it out later. As long as the mouse itself is at 60 Hz or more, it's fine. And it is at 60 Hz or more. It's just a game that's running at less than ideal frame rates. If we do enable DLSS, we should be capable of achieving pretty playable frame rates here at 8K. Performance DLSS looks really, really good at this resolution, and now we're back into the 40s and 50s. It's now playable. Still running out of VRAM heavily, but not really stuttering. Alright, but yeah, you can play even at 8K resolution. Probably nobody's gonna do that with a 4070. I mean, if you have a 4K monitor or a 4K TV and you are playing games on the TV, you probably have like a 4080 or a 4090 at least. And even then, I wouldn't really recommend that experience because you can have a high refresh rate 4K experience with those cards. So no need to play at 8K, 60 Hz. It's actually a better experience if you just turn it down to 4K. But hey, you do you, of course. There are probably like a couple of people out there who actually do play at 8K resolution. And it's always interesting to see how GPUs can do at this insanely high res. It's 4 times 4K resolution, basically. It's 4 times the pixel count and 2 times the height, the vertical resolution. But yeah, I guess that's been it. If I use some DLSS frame generation, I'm curious to see if the RAM usage goes up like crazy. Because again, it uses a little bit more VRAM, but we don't have enough of it anymore. Oh yeah, it goes up like crazy. 27 gigs. Still not completely awful. Like, there are some games out there where I have tried 8K with frame generation, even on like the 4090. And 4080, and those GPUs ran out of VRAM, and it was a terrible experience, and you were better off without frame generation enabled and just performance DLSS. And honestly, here it's the same case. You get more FPS without frame generation because of the VRAM being a lot lower, the VRAM usage. But it's interesting that this one is actually still very playable, right? I mean, you don't see that often these days. A game being playable when heavily running out of VRAM. They usually just stutter like crazy and are completely unplayable. So, Well, that's been it. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna be back very soon with the minimum requirements build for this game, so stay tuned in for that. And as always, love you all. Bye-bye.